Hello and welcome to this FPL Price Reveals reaction video with me, Holly Shand. Thank you for joining me today if you are new to the channel. In this video I'm going to be reacting to the prices from the first 11 teams. I'm recording this on Sunday morning. We've just had Chelsea's prices drop and it makes for very interesting reading. If you are new around here, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more great FPL tips throughout pre-season. Let's get into it. So starting off then at Manchester City, and these price reveals have been very, very interesting. A lot of players coming in cheaper than I anticipated. Basically anyone who wasn't going to be in the template team. I think FPL are really trying to mix this up this season and get a bit more difference between everyone's teams, and it's going to make it really exciting. Starting off with the Man City premiums, we've got Haaland coming in at 11.5, 0.5 cheaper than Kevin De Bruyne at 12. Bang on how I expected these prices to be. Still going to be a really, really tough decision deciding which Man City attacker to go for out of these two. I personally like the tried and trusted in KDB, but Haaland is going to be so highly owned, and two really good fixtures for captaincy in the opening 5 game weeks as well, looking at Bournemouth at home and then Forest at home as well. It's going to be really difficult to go without Haaland. Will the FOMO get to me? Most probably. But also looking beyond in this Man City attack, Riyad Mahrez has come in at 8 million, a lot cheaper than I was expecting him. I think he's a player that can really benefit from playing alongside a out-and-out number 9 like Haaland, so he's going to be an interesting one to watch. And with Jesus already gone, rumours Sterling leaving, maybe Mahrez will get more minutes than we've seen in previous seasons. Interestingly, he doesn't go to the World Cup either. And then João Cancelo, one of the players who rose most last season, no surprise to see his price jump from 6 million to 7 million, but I think he could still be incredible value. 12 attacking returns for him last season, and he's playing in the best defence in the Premier League. He capitalised on 19 of their 21 clean sheets. An absolute lock in Pep's team makes him a lock in our FPL teams too. If we move across to Liverpool then, and the thing that probably jumped out the most to me was looking at that price difference between Salah and Diaz. 5 million between the two. A slight rise in price for Mo Salah. I think he's going to be a lock in our teams. We know how solid he's been season after season. It'll take a very brave manager to go without him, especially when you look at Liverpool's fixtures, and you could conceivably captain him in all of his opening 7 games of the season. So for me, Salah is a must-have, but Diaz, you have to counter the savings there, and I think he's going to be an interesting option for those on the triple up. I was surprised to see Diogo Jota move to a forward, but not only that, increase in price to 9 million. We know that Diaz is Klopp's preferred option in Liverpool's front three. Whether Jota replaces Mane in there, we don't know, but I think Diaz is going to be the one to go to because he's a midfielder, because he's priced cheaper than Jota. However, when we talk about how good Liverpool's fixtures are and a Liverpool triple up, Trent and Robertson are never far from the conversation. Interestingly, both of their prices stayed the same as last season, even though they were the top defenders in the game with 14 attacking returns apiece. And obviously Liverpool's defence potential for clean sheets has been really good as well. My initial thoughts were to double up on them until I saw the price reveals from Chelsea. So Reece James and Ben Chilwell come in both at 6 million. I was expecting to see a little bit of a price difference between the two. I thought maybe James would come in at 6.5, so delighted to see both of them. The trouble with Chelsea is they do have that tricky fixture in game week 2 v Spurs, and we do see a lot of rotation, and it's a very congested schedule this season. Both players have had fitness issues as well, but Reece James got 14 attacking returns last season, the same as Trent and Robbo, played over 25% less minutes than that pair though. Ben Chilwell missed a lot of last season through injury, the ACL injury, and he is a player that's quite injury prone, but in terms of points per game last season, he was top of all players in the game that played significant minutes, so he is certainly going to be one to watch as well, and perhaps he's a bit more nailed on than James when fully fit, because we know his position. Reece James last season had his minutes managed a little bit and had his positioning managed, didn't always play wing back, sometimes played as the right-sided centre-back in the back five, but we could also see Chelsea move to a back four, which would diminish the appeal of this pair, but still very exciting prospect. Elsewhere though, looking at this Chelsea defence, you can get Edouard Mendy for 5 million, a locked, nailed on point in that Chelsea defence for 5 million. One of the best defences of Premier League last season. He could be sensational. I was set on a 4.5 million set and forget goalkeeper, but that 5 million pricing for Mendy really did surprise me. The trouble we have to think about when we're going with a premium goalkeeper is that it would stop you tripling up on other Chelsea assets. Someone like Mason Mount, 8 million this season. Kai Havertz, interestingly, 8 million as well, but has been moved to a forward. I think if you're going with a Chelsea attacker from the start, Mason Mount is likely to be the one to go to. The trouble with that though is he's going to be quite difficult to fit in among the other premium players that we need. We can compare him to other midfielders from other teams. There's an interesting case to go elsewhere and just focus on Chelsea defence in our FPL squads. Speaking of other midfielders priced at 8 million then, and Bukayo Saka at Arsenal, we know Arsenal have one of the best fixture runs in the Premier League for the start of the season. It's going to be tough to go without one of their attackers. Martinelli came in quite nice at 6 million, Odegaard at 6.5, but you know, with Arsenal looking to strengthen in the window, I think Saka is probably going to be the safest pick from game week 1, and we do like to play safe in game week 1 with some safe picks. Interestingly, you can get a slice of the Arsenal defence for just 4.5 million. Ben White is an option, but with Saliba coming back from loan makes him a slight risk. I think Tomiyasu at 4.5 million could be the one to go for, and you can just throw those defence rotations out the window, because looking at how strong Arsenal's opening 8 fixtures are, avoiding all of last season's top 4, I think you can safely say that you could play Tomiyasu in every single fixture in there. So in terms of the 4.5 million defenders that we've got already, Tomiyasu is definitely up there as my favourite at the moment. Now, perhaps the biggest surprise of yesterday's price reveals were the Manchester United attackers. Jadon Sancho got a price decrease to 7.5 million. Marcus Rashford, a full 3 million price decrease to 6.5 million. Now, unless I see this pair really set things alight in pre-season, it's unlikely I'll go with one of them from the start, because Manchester United do have some tricky opening fixtures, but certainly players to keep an eye on, keep on your watch list, especially if they really start to gel under Ten Hag. And they're both midfielders as well. Rashford, if Ronaldo is rumoured to be looking for a move away from Manchester United, if Ronaldo goes, we could see Marcus Rashford as the central striker, and at 6.5 million, if Ten Hag does manage to improve this Manchester United attack, Rashford could be very appealing indeed at that price point. Looking further down the Premier League table at these price reveals then, I have to go to Wolves next. I am their official FPL pundit, and I was really surprised to see Pedro Neto come in at 5.5 million. He got 13 attacking returns from limited minutes really 2 seasons ago. Missed a lot of last season through injury, but is back fit now. So if he has a good pre-season, especially because of how good Wolves' early fixtures are, he could be worth a punt at 5.5 million in our game week 1 squads. Looking at the defence, Cody is 5 million, but you can get one of the wing backs in Aït-Nouri or Johnny Otto for 4.5 million. Semedo will take one of their places when he comes back fully fit, so I think maybe Johnny edges it right now as maybe being the more nailed on of the 2 wing backs. But if we'll stick with that wing back formation, then we've seen in previous seasons he's managed to chip in with attacking returns, and we saw at times last season that the Wolves defence were very solid. It did drop off towards the end of last season, but if they can regain some form from the early parts of 21-22, then Johnny could present fantastic value and again could be a set and forget start for the early periods of the season. Moving to Brentford next, another side that have got a really nice appealing run of fixtures to start the season with. Ivan Toney, after being the top scoring budget forward in the game last season, has seen a price hike to 7 million. But looking at the fixtures, the fact that he's the talisman of this side and on penalties, he could be an appealing option for game week 1. I will be keeping an eye on whether Eriksen signs again at Brentford, because I think he does improve the overall squad. Now, the other player I'd be quite interested in would be the goalkeeper, David Raya. He, in terms of save percentage, was ranked second last season behind Wolves' Jose Sarr. He is the one to go for if you want a 4.5 set and forget. The problem is, with this new FPL pricing, it could be quite a challenge to go without someone like Mendy at 5 million. However, I think I'm still leaning towards Raya as being a lock in our sides from game week 1. Aston Villa's assets remain quite highly priced compared to some other clubs in the Premier League, but Aston Villa have a great run of opening fixtures right the way through to the World Cup break, so you can choose players from them and have them in your team quite long term, which is why I like the look of Ollie Watkins. He, plods along through the season but does chip in with goals. I think if you're going for an attacker from Aston Villa, he would be the one to go for to capitalise on the nice opening run of fixtures. In defence, Matty Cash at 5 million may be a little bit steep compared to other defenders priced at 4.5, but he's quite prominent in terms of his attacking returns last season, and with the fixtures being the way they are, I think he could be a good option. Now, Aston Villa defenders do rotate quite nicely with Brighton defenders, so I was pleased to see Lewis Dunk come in at 4.5 million, a price drop from previous seasons. We know what he can do aerially, and in terms of this Brighton side, again, some good opening fixtures, and defence is the one to prioritise over attack right now. However, I have got my eye on Danny Welbeck as a budget option in the attack at 6.5 million. A bit of a wayward choice here, definitely going to be a differential one, but he really finished last season strongly, and I think that could really help him in terms of having a good start to the 22-23 season. Now, I want to know your reaction to the price reveals so far, so if there's a player that you think could be a bargain, do get in the comments and let me know. And if you are new around here and you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more great content coming this pre-season. If you haven't checked out the fixtures video, please do. There's some great graphics on there that should really help you with your planning for what can be a very congested season. Thank you for watching.